who will be holding the light, which means that she will be holding the space for this morning's message. So thank you, Deb. We have membership, inviting all new members and mentors for new members to sign up in the back. We do have a table set up, and I'm going to ask Tina, one of our board members, to come up and talk to you guys real quick.
Good morning, Seaside. So I have really good news for you. In 2 weeks, we have New Member Sunday on November 5th. And guess what? We already have over 30 new members who are joining our family. Yay. If you've been on the cusp around that, you've been thinking about it, and you haven't already signed up, see me in the back after service, and we can get that taken care of for you, or if you have any questions. What I really want to talk to you about is that we are looking for more people to sponsor and mentor our new members. That means you're taking them to lunch on November 5th at the Del Mar Hilton with us at our luncheon, which is a fabulous time. I'll let you know about how that works when I see you in the back afterward. It's a joyous celebration, and I invite you all to join us for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. All right, guys, so we have Sacred Circle starting up. The sign-up is for this week, starting October 22nd, and there's a sign-up table with 3 sign-up sheets on the left and between the bathroom and the kitchen doors, just because some of us were looking for it over here, and the education table is actually on the left over there. November Science of Mind magazine, our very own Reverend Christian is featured for his 30 days of the daily guide, and this is what it looks like. So remember to get this, because there's only a few left, and you want to have yours inside, and put it up on your wall and have it forever. We have our Power Up Wednesday night at 7 p.m., and it's incredibly exciting. If you can't make it physically, we are live streaming it. Of course, I would love to see your faces Sundays and Wednesdays, because that just makes my entire week, month, year. So make sure to show up, and if you're looking to volunteer, just come and see me, and I'm pretty sure I can find something for you to do. CRC, Community Resource Drive, is having their virtual food drive, so you can donate into more food with bulk purchasing and efficient distribution online today by visiting crcncc.org. That's /donate, and that's inside Seaside, so you can take a look there. Dances for Universal Peace is starting up on November 19th. This is Reverend Lori Mack left us with this wonderful legacy by providing a space for like-minded people to gather once a month to experience dance for universal peace. We're looking for volunteers to keep this legacy going, so you can email Pauline Nutt, and her email is also on the inside Seaside. Okay, 1 Billion Rising Dance. So Seaside Sisters are invited to dance at Reverend Lori's ordination, and her ordination is November 12th at 4 p.m. Practice begins this Saturday at 12 to 1:30. For more information, you can email Reverend Lori Mack. November 19th, I know you guys already put this in your calendar, but just in case you forgot, the last time I told you, I'm going to tell you again. November 19th is the Sunday Chili Cook-Off. And November 26th, we have Kyle Cease, and he's going to be here for the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m. service, and then he's going to be here for a 1 p.m. workshop. Did you get all of that? If not, it's in your Inside Seaside, so you can look there, and it's also on our website. And if you have any questions, I'll be at the back at the end of service in the family room. And with all that being said, we can now all stand up, greet our neighbors, and make sure to stay for the congregational song.
Good morning, Seaside. Please remain standing if you can, and let's join us in our congregational song. It's all about saying, I trust in God. It's the only way to fly. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm happy, so happy. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm happy, so happy. I trust in God. I'm loving, so loving. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm loving, so loving. I trust in I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God.
That's Leslie Green. Oh my goodness. Hey, I heard choir starting up.
Yes, choir. We still have some room for some more vocals.
Yeah?
Please
So
join
we got a
us.
couple seats?
In fact, Tom is coming this afternoon. Yay.
That's good. I don't know if you'll take me though, right?
Well, we love you.
I'll do the speaking part.
Yes, yes.
How dread the night,
Right.
how lost the
yes,
soul.
we
Yeah,
will.
yeah. And you
Fabulous,
sing
yeah.
behind me, huh?
Yes, we shall.
Okay,
We shall.
you'll write a number
We
just
shall
for me, huh?
overcome, yes.
Yeah, we shall overcome. That's it. Anyway, Leslie Green, choir today, 1 o'clock, going on right here for sure. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Woo, what a joy it is to be with you and be, Reverend Laurie Mack is back in the house. Got to have you share with us a little bit about your great trek and quest on the Camino. That'll be wonderful. Hey, we are starting a whole new program here at Seaside. It is very exciting. We are going on the quest together. And Ginny and Dennis, mostly Ginny, but guys get the credit too sometimes. Anyway, has put together this wonderful altar and this banner. Equitas means equal. Justice, virtuous is the strength and the valor, and pietas is the God. It is that which is spirit that is expressing. That is what this quest is going to be about, is coming in touch with that presence. We're going to find our strength and know and recognize that we are all equal in the mind of God, and we're going to be using the Arthurian lore. And you may have found on the inside of your program this wonderful pledge card. Every week I'm going to be giving that to you. David Hackett brought his magic to create these 5 cards for us for the next 5 weeks and all the printed stuff. And so that will be coming to you. But during the collection time, when it's time to share our resources, I want you to add to that your commitment that I'm going to honor the path that I've walked so far in my life. I want you to put that in there so we can take all those names. I'm going to pray on them. But when united, there's power in that. And as we begin to honor us, we can stand with a sense of tribute to the good that has come our way thus far, even if we don't recognize it. And so what we're going to do over the next 5 weeks is take a journey with King Arthur and the wonderful knights of the Round Table and the Guineveres, the kings, the queens, the wizards, and the temptresses, and all those, the Lady of the Lake and Excalibur. I can go on, but I will go on over the next 5 weeks. So you want to be here, but know what we're going to do. Like always, we start it with spirit. I want to welcome everybody here, no matter where you are on your path, and let you know we put spirit first always. And today we have a masterful practitioner, the individual who led us, oversaw the wonderful Gene Houston event, has also overseen Von Prague, Anita Mojani. She's just a saint to us all, a wonderful gift, an angel. This is what angels look like. Kay Samuelson.
to let us go into the stillness for a few moments. For with a still mind, the sacred has a chance to reveal itself. The divine spirit breathes me. It beats my heart. It inspires me. It reveals the truth of my nature as goodness, as God. For it is the same essence, the same God seed of creation that created the universe. This energy created each individual here in this room. It is the beloved spirit within each one of us that unfolds itself in its divine love, in its rhythm and perfection. There is nothing outside of this life, for it is the life force within you, breathing you, uplifting you, inspiring you, creating the infinite abundance in your life as your prosperity, your health, the wisdom within you. It speaks to you, it guides you. It is the rhythm of your heartbeat. It is the same God seed that we can call on. It is the joy, the inspiration. So I am truly grateful to stand here on holy ground, to speak a word of blessing for this community, knowing that it is all spirit outpicturing itself in, through, and as each individual. It is our wholeness, our oneness, our unity. It is consciousness breathing itself into being, awakening itself through infinite possibilities. And I know Reverend Christian is a conduit, is a vessel for the light of spirit to move in through and as this wonderful spirit that we call God. Creating a world that works for everyone, knowing that it is in this unity, this unified field of our goodness that we call this forth. So I just let spirit have its way.
God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good to me. Ooh, God is so good. is so good. God is so good to me.
Thank you, Leslie, and good morning, Seaside. You all look so beautiful today, but also look at how beautiful everyone up here looks. It's like they had the spiritual download this morning with the colors. Everybody just said, okay, I know what I'm wearing today. It's all the download. And that's what it's all about. It's really about the download. So anyway, my name is Rosedale. I am a practitioner here and also a spiritual leader. Yeah, okay, I can do that too. That works. Actually, I'm in ministerial school and I'm graduating in June, so that makes me a senior. I have to say that every now and then because it's like amazing. But anyway, talk about path. So anyway, welcome. If you're new to Seaside, we have this fabulous table in the back for welcome people. You know, people that we're welcoming. You get it? Don't worry about my English. It's just what it is, okay? So go back and get welcomed, okay? You get an envelope. I'll see that. I don't even have to say, point. And then that's what we do. So with that being said, we got a wonderful week. Oh, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. This is the first week. We're starting the quest. And this fabulous quest for the Holy Grail. And this is fun. I mean, the journey, you got to see the way Dr. Christian does this thing. It's going to be fabulous. And you're going to be saying, oh, I know where my path going now. I know where to go, okay? Because Merlin came back from the future to tell me. Oh, but anyway, that's enough. That's enough. But speaking of this quest, we have our very own Reverend Lori who went out to the pilgrimage. And she had her own quest. And she, just like every one of us have our own paths, but she took that special one. So I'm going to give her a chance to explain that all to us. How about that? Reverend Lori.
Good morning, Seaside. Every day when I was on the Camino de Santiago, I thought about you, and I prayed for you. Every step was a prayer. It was a beautiful journey, an inner journey, an outer journey. I was walking to the Cathedral of St. James. After I got there, my girlfriend went home, and I had to walk again. And after I got there again, I had to walk again. I just couldn't get enough of this rich inner and outer journey. I was in Portugal. I was in the castle, where the city was inside the castle. I was in Ponferrada, where the Knights Templars, where I journeyed through that amazing, amazing castle. I walked on the bridges of the Romans made, and the stones and the streets that the Romans had made. There was so much prosperity and abundance everywhere I looked. There was people from all different countries. We all had the same exact vision. It was harvest time. There was apples and there was corn and there was pumpkins. The beauty was everywhere, but the inner journey was just as important. I even walked with my shadow. That was difficult. But I learned I never have to worry about anything again. I learned that the universe always provides. God always provides. I learned that I can love God through love and joy. I never have to love God through pain and suffering. I learned that every time I walked through a path and I turned the corner, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to get a blessing. I didn't know if I was going to have a challenge. But I knew one thing for sure, that there are no coincidences, that I was not doing my life, that God was doing my life. Yeah. And that was so important. And God is always doing your life. You never have to strive. You're always going to arrive. It's always going to be there, and it's always going to be happy. So now I feel courageous. I feel courageous that I can go through my ordination and I can walk into the mystery of the unknown, for the mystery and the manifestations all in one, and how beautiful and glorious that is. So I invite you on November 12th to my ordination. It's going to be beautiful. It's Eat, Dance, Pray. The Seaside Sisters are going to dance. We're going to have Sufi dancing, and we're going to have some baby boomer dancing with our DJ. I do need some volunteers, people to assist in this journey, and I just want to tell you that I love you, and if you're interested in helping out, I'll see you in the back room.
Every time she says that, I just have to take a moment and just take in all of that beauty. So as I'm taking in this beauty, you listen to my beauty, but let my eyes be your eyes. Let my pronouns be your pronouns as we go into prayer. Lord, there is this power, and it's only one. It's within me. It was in me from the conception of myself in the womb of my mama. I know that this power has always been there, and that's why I know that an eye was an eye, a nail was a nail, a toe was a toe. But it wasn't my choice of where to put it. So this power knows what it was. So with this power, I see a field of a bunch of lights, and each and every one of us are the representatives of the light, but in different places of the field. It's a beautiful field, some flowers, some trees, and different places to start at, but you start where you are. Because these are beautiful paths that I see now. They're all over the place. And I give great thanks for the insight that I have. I give great thanks for the wonders and the beauties that every one of these lights here today. Find the path they're on. Begin where you are. And as Dr. Christian brings us into the tribute, oh, what beauty we leave here with today. So it is with great thanks that I release these words to every soul and every light that's under the sound of my voice, even at home, as you take this journey with Dr. Christian today. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. I'm speaking it. I'm speaking it prophetically. Because we know that. We know that. Amen. Hallelujah. So we're so thrilled to have this wonderful couple. They are not just a couple of musicians, but they are also like a couple. Like, they've been married and for 30 years. So they kind of know each other. They kind of know each other musically. I would imagine they could probably even look at each other, give themselves that look like, they go, oh yeah, I know what that means, right? Huh? Is that true?
Well, I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we know how that goes. So, they're a local couple. They've been here in the San Diego area. They have some CDs in the back. So if you like what you hear, please support our local, they're wonderful, wonderful. They've been here before. And also, all the songs that they've written, all the songs they're performing, they've written. So they're original songs. So again, support our local artists. They're wonderful. We have the guitar going on here. We got the saxophone. We have a soprano sax later on. It's awesome, awesome. So put your hands together for a wonderful, warm seaside welcome to Kahil and Deline.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yes. So a little later, I don't want to give away the story, Reverend Christian is going to talk about the quest. We're all on a quest. We're all on this path together, and all of us has something that is uniquely ours to give back to the world. And that's what this song is about. It's called What Have You Got to Give? Look inside you, what do you see? A gift you've got to give the world to set it free. Listen to you now, hear what you say. You're asking just what have I got to give away. Well, now maybe it's a new invention or a book that just won't wait. But all your good intention won't put it on the plate. So what have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give?
Look around you. What do you see? A world in need of so much love from you and me. Listen to yourself. What's your excuse? You say one man can't change the world, so what's the use? What about Mother Teresa or John F. Kennedy? Or what about Mahatma Gandhi? Now how about you and me? Ooh, yeah. Look above you. What do you know? Heaven at our fingertips. The world needs to be shown.
So listen deeply to that inner voice. Rise up to the calling now. It's your choice. 'Cause maybe you will be the person to set that prisoner straight upon the path to truth and freedom. Come on, don't make him wait. What have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give? And now you got to tip that you got something real good to give now. Look inside yourself, reach into your soul. Just to find and you'll find you got something great to give.
What have you got to give
right now?
What have you got to give now?
Hey,
Thank you.
that is Cahill and Deline. Oh my. Woo. What do you got to give? Well, that is what we're about to find out. Anyway, woo. Beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, Ginny, I don't know if you're still around here because you've been here since 6 o'clock this morning, but this really looks spectacular. I want to play with it all. Always wanted the crown. Look at that. Kind of fits, right? Callie makes me take this off when I come home, though, you know. Like that, huh, Rosedale? Those sisters stick together for sure. Anyway, Marv, I even like the castle. No respect, but it's tribute. It's about tribute, paying tribute. That's it. So I thought an interesting place for us to start on our journey is to pay tribute to the path that we have taken thus far in our life. Because what I know is you have put in a lot of miles to get to where you sit today. And, you know, even if there's been challenges in the past, it has led you here today. No matter what your upbringing has been, it has led you to this moment. No matter what your religious upbringing has been, even if it, like disregard half of the population, it still led you to this particular place. And so as we begin to honor the path and the challenges and the good times and realize that somehow it supports our story and has strengthened us, and the presence of God was right there in the midst, whether you've been in relationships and they've gone sour, or a marriage that didn't work out, it's not because it's failed, it's because it ended, it was over, it was complete. You know, and so as we begin to take a look at the path and honor the path and recognize that it's been the perfect path for us, because we're at a point now and that we have come back to our Camelot. We have come back to our place where we can recharge, refresh, regroup, get clear, and just begin to feel the rumbling of another quest, because we're about to go on a quest together. Over the next month, we're about to journey out and discover the wizard that is within us, the wise that is within within us, participate in a story that's as old as time. For the story of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, it can go back to 1st and 2nd century BC. There are so many different Arthurian stories that have been pulled together finally by Thomas Milroy, who wrote really the not definitive work, but definitely the one pretty thick of a lot of the Arthurian lore, put it all into this one book for us. But then he missed out on the whole romantic aspect of things. And then you had T.H. White, who wrote the one that has Arthur's childhood in there, the one that we grew up with, Disney's Sword in the Stone and the Silly Wizard. And so the Arthurian lore with Excalibur and the Lady of the Lake can go back to the Celtic days and the good old just the wild time and connected with the earth. The thing about Arthurian lore, the story of Arthur, is it's that bridge from an era that was to an era that is becoming. The Arthurian lore, and my favorite one, I shared the two like classics, but my favorite one is The Mists of Avalon. That is the one, it's a page burner. I recommend, it's thick, but it's worth reading. It is from the whole feminine perspective. It is the goddess rising. It is the women who really are directing it. They aren't about the battles, and it's not about Percival. It is about the women who are kind of conjuring up all the activities of the guys and directing them, and it's truly fabulous. But the era that Arthur is between two eras, which is really the story of when the goddesses ruled the earth, and it was the earth energy, and it was in touch with nature and the rhythm of things, to Christianity coming in and the patriarchal dominance and the wars and the exploitation of the Christianity and the one God as opposed to the many aspects of the goddess that is expressing. And Arthur is the one who stood between the two. And Camelot is that place, that idyllic place. That's probably really wasn't, though some think it may have been, but they really haven't been able to prove it. But the fact that there wasn't actually a physical place means that it is every place. And Camelot is symbolic in the sense of that place where there is order, where there is equality, where there is peace, where there is safety, where there is chivalry, where there's nobility, where it is all working in harmony. And that symbolic sense, that Camelot, that utopia, that sense is possible today. And that is what we're working on. But the thing about having a Camelot in that place of peace, and you come back and you pay tribute, you share your stories, you walk the Camino, you're able to come home, there's people ready to embrace you. The knights go out and do their night thing, and they come back and they say, good job, guys. You got family, you got the clan, you got the crew, you got the tribe. It's like, wow, I get to come home, and there is a tribute to that journey and the depth and the exploration of my soul and my spirit and my bravery and my strength and my guts and my courage. And as people go, yeah. And as you sit in this space that is safe and is peaceful, there aren't any battles, there aren't any arguments, it's just kind of okay. But then after a while, it kind of gets boring. It's like heaven, and all you do is roll out clouds all day? I don't think so. You're behind the walls of the castle where everything is nice. And all of a sudden, there's something starts stirring in your soul. There's a rumbling, there's something going on. You can feel the quest starting to catch you. The call of your spirit says, I know, I'm meant for more than that. And I feel it's so important if you can go out on that quest with a sense of honoring of the path that you've walked that have taken you to this place. Just thank you. It's the Christian mystic, Edgar Tolle, no. That's the guy, Meister Eckhart. He's the one who said that if your only prayer that you ever say is thank you in your life, that would be enough. That's the tribute. If the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, that would be enough. That would be okay. Okay? No matter what's going on. Maya Angelou said that I may be changed by what has happened to me, but I will never be reduced by it. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I may be changed, uplifted, inspired, but I will never be reduced. I will never be made less than. I will never give in to my fears. I will never be less than who I came into this world to be. I'm going to be in that place where that Spirit flows. I'm going to tap into that abundance. I may need to return to my Camelot to recharge, rejuice, to get it all set up in the right place. But you know what? I know that there's something inside of me that's going to call me on this quest to go out there and to be more in my life, in my world. And I've got what it takes, because there is this abundance, and this whole program is awakening the abundance in you. This program is so you can be in that affluent flow, so you can experience abbondanza, as Gene Houston told us, right? Is that a great Italian word? Abbondanza. It's like it's more than enough. The floodgates are opening. The windows of heaven are pouring forth blessings. And Jesus, whoa, that's enough. I don't think we're quite there yet. I mean, I don't know anybody saying, close those windows, I got enough. But we're going to get there this week. Abbondanza. Say that. It just feels good. Abbondanza. That's what we're going to create in our life, where those Italian courses just keep coming, and there's like no end. After 12, that's just the appetizers, That's what we're dealing with when we're talking about abbondanza, about abundance. Wayne Dyer said, I love this. He said, abundance is not something you attain. It's something you tune into. That's right. So we're not only talking cash flow here, which is always a good thing to have, but we're talking about perfect health. We're talking about well-being. We're talking about freedom, to be able to come and go as you choose, to have the resources be able to come and go as you choose, not to be constrained or restricted or caught because of a time crunch. I got to put in these hours in work. That's not freedom. You do your passion, your dharma, because this is what you love, not because I've got to work so many weeks a year. Your health, your body is the temple, your Camelot. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have challenges. Take a look at that guy who wrote all those letters in the Bible, Paul. He wrote a lot of stuff. 14 letters that somehow made it into the Christian Bible. How come everybody else got kicked out and he got 14 of those chapters? He had something going on. Good PR, maybe. And so he's out proselytizing, building churches, organizing, just living his vision. And he has a greater vision. He's going to go to Spain. He's going to, right on the outskirts, the perimeter, really, their known world of Spain. And that's where he's going to go and start the new church and start the new work. And as he was getting excited, catching the vision, doing his plan, getting whatever it took to be able to make that journey, he got taken and thrown in the Roman prisons. Talk about a turn of events. Major drag, thrown into a dark hole, lowered down on a rope, dark, dank, cold. It is not like a condo on the Caribbean to do your writing, But something shifted, and it's where he began to write those letters that transformed the world that people still talk about today. Yeah. He used that experience to move him to a greater place. And I want us to get that it's sometimes in our life we come up against disappointments. We come up with our dreams being postponed. We come up against our vision being disrupted. And I'll hear people sometimes in New Thought communities giving me all this metaphysical jazz as to why that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have to struggle with abundance. You're talking about this abundant philosophy. Excuse me. I'm still here. Yeah, and we have the greatest philosophy that gives us the tools to create the abundance and the joy and the freedom, the health and the well-being. But sometimes those dreams get disrupted and they become our spiritual practice. And if we had it all perfect, we wouldn't be here. We would have checked out by now. And so what happens is we are learning our spiritual principles through real life. It's not as if we go out and pay for a Gene Houston workshop every weekend or run off and take yes. We do it in real life. We get the dynamics presented to us and say, okay, what am I going to do with this? There's a Hindu proverb that says, those that were born of the fire don't fade in the sun. You're born in the fire, in the heat, and a little sun's not going to bug you. You got a lot of junk thrown at you, a little bit more. Hey, no problem. I can do this. I can move through this. It's not going to deny me or stop me. I'm able to move forward in life and not be denied a greater expression of who I am. There's a guy who received the grandfather clock in the inheritance, 3 generations passed on to him. He looked at this clock, the big weights that are holding, it's like the weight is. He looked at that clock and felt bad. For 3 generations, you've been holding those weights. And so he took the weights off the clock, and the clock stopped working instantly. And the clock said, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "Well, you've been holding that weight for all these years. I thought I would help you." I said, "Put those back on there." You see, the challenge, the quest, the adventure, the struggle, the delayed is a little resistance for us to pull forth that wizard that is within us, the wise one that is within us, because we're dealing in a world that resistance actually helps us. Birds, they fly with resistance of the wind. Airplanes take off into the wind, the resistance. Fish are able to swim because of their resistance in the water. We walk on Mother Earth because of gravity and the resistance it takes to move and to be held down. Resistance is a natural thing, and the weights and the challenges are that which calls forth that greater wisdom that is within us. And so if we're just sitting back and everything's wonderful in our Camelot, eventually there's something that's going to start stirring that says, "I got to go out on a quest. I got to go climb the highest mountain," or what have you. There was this boy who was taking his girlfriend on this path into the mountains. Why he was taking her up there, I don't know. But as they started going, she looked at the path and said, "There's nothing but rocks and boulders that are there." He said, "Yeah, that's what we get to climb." Kind of a guy thing, "Yeah, look we get to climb this." And it's as we adjust the attitude and realize, what? This is exciting. This is my quest. This is the boulder. There's something inside of me that I left behind my Camelot where everything's good. We gotta get something to stretch me, to have me be. And so it awakens that wizard, that Merlin within inside of us. That wizard consciousness, or the Merlin consciousness, they talked about the tower of the wizard, where Merlin was sent off to stay until he was kidnapped by the Lady of the Lake. But that tower of the wizard that is inside of us is what we want to activate. That's what we want to touch. That is where the wizard consciousness, when operating within spirit, the spirit is not shadowed by form and phenomena and the things of this world. The wizard consciousness doesn't have spirit covered over by the things that are happening here in this life. It continues to stay connected. It lives in the present moment and believes in the presence of God, or that life force that is going to show up, that the answers are already there, that the quest is what brings it forth. It's not caught up in remembering the past. The wizard consciousness lets the past be where it was and is fully present and alive in the present-centered moment of spirit, and that is where the fullness absolutely has its way. It is not burdened by the heaviness and the past and the mistakes. The wizard lives with a sense of joy and magic and wonder and mystery of it all. And when the magic is gone from life, the joy is gone. It is dull. It is bleak. There's nothing left to call forth the magnificence of your being. So this excitement is a good thing. It brings forth, in White's book, talking about Merlin, Arthur, when he was born, they weren't really sure who his dad was. Merlin knew who it was. He kind of set it up. But I'm not going to go into that aspect of that story because we have young ones in this crowd. But it's definitely worth reading in Mists of Avalon. It is juicy stuff. But anyway, so where was it going? Oh, so Merlin was called in White's book to educate this kid, because this kid was just a sidekick for this king's son, Kay. Kay was the one who's to be the knight, the brave, the chivalrous, and Arthur was just worthy to carry a sword. And so he needed to be educated, and so they called in this wizard to educate him, Merlin. And what's interesting for me, Merlin, taught with the books and images, but mostly through shape-shifting. We think shape-shifting, wow, but the shamanic beliefs, the pagan rituals, the Greek, the shape-shifting was just a common practice. And so Merlin would do the shape-shifting, and if you saw the Disney movie of, he got turned into fish, and they almost got eaten. He got turned into a squirrel, and The girl almost caught him, and Merlin, they turned into owls and birds. And he learned from the animals in this book that by being, I think it was the ants or the hedgehog, that there's no animal species that actually kills its own, wars against its own. It may clear out some territory, but there's no species that wars against its own. The human species is the only one, which is part of what it had Arthur say, you know what, it's chivalry, it's nobility. We're going to live in a land of peace. He learned it from the animals, but what I'm getting at with this is that see if I can figure it out. Looks like somebody experienced my book while I wasn't looking. Well, let's see. I should have memorized the page for you, but I did not. So I will make it up. No, I found it. Here it is. I knew it was the end of the first book. There's 4 books in here. It's the end of the first one. So he had done all this work, Merlin and Arthur, who called Ward affectionately, and they went to a joust, and Arthur's job was to carry the stuff for Kay, the older guy, and they were having the joust, and then it was time for Kay to have his sword, and Kay forgot his sword, so he sent Merlin back to the inn to get his sword, and it was locked up. And Arthur or Ward, didn't know what to do. He's walking through the woods, and they were saying, well, there's one stuck in a stone out there, an anvil. And so he went looking for it, and he found it. And now this isn't Excalibur. Excalibur was given to him by Lady of the Lake. This is the sword that said who pulled it would be king. Everybody's tried. Nobody could get it. He shows up as this innocent, unbeknownst what it was about. All he cared about, not getting in trouble because he had to get the sword back to the kid that he was taking care of. And he didn't really have the wherewithal. He tried to pull it once, didn't work. Tried to pull it twice. But what's interesting is all of his training, all those individuals or animals or characters came back to him. He didn't know why he was hanging out with the geese trying to find his internavigational signal across the North Sea, but he learned from that. He didn't know why he was hanging out with the birds or why he was hanging out with ants or hedgehogs or fish, but here you go. This is why. "Oh, Merlin," cried out Wart, "help me with this weapon." And there was a kind of rushing and a noise. And all around the courtyard, there were hundreds of old friends, and they rose over the church walls all together, like a Punch and Judy ghosts of remembered days. And there were badgers and nightingales, vulgar crows and hares and wild geese and falcon and fish and dogs and dainty unicorns and solitary wasps and hedgehogs and that loomed around the church walls. There were the lovers, the helpers of Wart, and they all spoke solemnly. Some of them had come from the banners in the church where they were painted in the hierarchy, some from the waters, some from the sky, some from the fields above, but all down to the smallest shrewd mouths had come to help on the account of love. Wart felt this power grow inside of him. "Put your back into it," said the fish, "as you once did when I tried to eat you. Remember how power springs from the nape of your neck." "What about your forearms?" asked the badger gravely. "That they're held together by your chest. Come along, my dear embryo, and find your tool." The hawk sitting on the top of the tree cried out, "Now then, Captain Wart, what is the first law of the foot? I thought I once heard something about never let go. And don't work like a stalling woodpecker," the old owl said. "Keep up your steady effort, my duck, and you will have it yet." And the goose said, "Now, Wart, if you were once able to fly the great North Sea, surely you can coordinate a few little wing muscles here and there. Fold your powers together with the spirit of your mind, and it will come out like butter. Come along, you Homo sapien, for all we humble friends of yours are waiting here to cheer you on." And Wart walked up to the great sword on the third try, and he pulled it out with his right hand softly and drew it out as gently as it came from his scarab. And once you take your call, once you say, "I'm leaving Camelot behind," there's something in me. You've got to ask yourself some questions. These are some Arthurian questions we're going to be looking at over the next few weeks. But if you decide to go on this quest, it's right to get your mind and consciousness set. So Marv has got these 4 questions for us. And they are, where are you going? Do you know where you're going? Where have you come from? Has it been deep? Have you just been doing life and paying bills? Or has it been a little bit more meaningful then? What are you doing in this world? What is your dharma? What is your purpose? What did you come here for? What are you drawing out of that wellspring of your being, the well of the chalice, the goblet? What are you pulling from the depths that is inexhaustible into the world? Is it enough? Is it who you are? Is it what you came here to be? And who do you and what do you serve? That's going to be the chalice question next week. It's like, are you doing this because of your ego? I'm just going to do this. Ta-da, I got the big castle and the crown. I'm good. Or are you doing this because there is a higher calling, a Christ calling, a spiritual calling for you to be that spiritual leader in this world? I can't answer those questions for you. They're ones that you get to sit there and contemplate. We've got sacred circles. I wrote these. They're great. You sign up for a sacred circle. There's no cost, an hour and 15 minutes, and you move it to a deeper level. If it's not in a neighborhood near you or a night you like, Kat has put it on the internet, on our website. You go under education, you hit sacred circles, and you go Arthur. And you'll find out what I've written for all of us to be working on over the next 5 weeks. You can do it in group. You can do it alone. It's available to everyone. But I want you to take a look at what is going on in your life, in your world. What is it that I have to work with? You know, because we're going to hit successful points in our life. That's how it comes. But you know what? We don't always stay there. It doesn't mean because we have hit these great spiritual pinnacles that we're never going to falter again. And the answer to the question, how to get back there, is through our spiritual realization. It's through our right identification. It's about connecting with that divine and seeing as Spirit sees. You listen to that quest that's stirring in your soul, that has you leave the comfort behind because you just got uncomfortable being too comfortable. There's something in you that's stirring and seeking to be more, to express more, that wants more in your life. And that, you know, Robert Frost said that there was something missing, and we discovered it was ourself. There's something missing. And in this quest, in this searching, we discovered it's me. I'm forgetting to bring forth that aspect, that royalty, that nobility, that chivalry, the wizard, the temptress, the knight, the lady of the lake. See, the wizard has many personas, many personalities, many aspects in the shape-shifting. We have many expressions of our being in this life. And as we can begin to trust that and to be that, we begin to realize it is spirit in all things. What happens as humans, at least the wizard thinking, is that humans create distinctions. This, and it's this, and it's this, and it's this, where spirit has no distinctions. It is in and through all things. It is omnipresent. It is omnipotent. That power is there. But you're only going to come to discover that when you look at the rocks or the boulders on your path and think, boy, this is fun. Count me in. I'm going up there. You know, Ziggy, you know, the comic strip guy, not the Rasta-san, swinging with the music guy. But the comic strip guy said, I have my rabbit's foot, I got my four-leaf clover, and my lucky charm. The only problem is they're not effective until I am. You know, it's a problem until you're effective. You know, the things are not going to work in your life. So you got to begin to work with that, begin to trust that, and realize, you know what, I've got something to bring forth here into this world. I'm being called to be of a greater expression, and I may reach some challenges. I might be thrown into a prison like Paul was, but I'm going to use that as an opportunity to be greater. We see it in life, in the stories all the time. You had Thomas Edison. Here, his first job. You know his first job? I just found this out. He was selling newspapers on a train. He kicked over a bottle of acid in the baggage compartment, and it caught on fire, created a lot of commotion and damage, I guess, and that was the end of that career. But isn't that a good thing? He went on to telegraphy and science and all those things, so it worked out to be a blessing. Remember the story of the boll weevil back in Alabama in 1952, second year desert, boll weevil came, ate all the crops, and a guy, George Washington Carver, said, hey, why don't we try peanuts? Yeah, the boll weevils don't eat that. They went on to be bumper crops. He went on to come up with 100 ways in which to use the peanut, and that little town in Alabama by 1919 was one of the leading producers and prosperous towns in our country, because you know what? They had a problem called the boll weevil, which they eventually erected a statue to say thank you, because they moved on to something greater. That's how it happened. Victor Hugo, do you know he got run out of France when I think he was 48 years old on a little island, miserable, and they started to write something called Les Miserables. He wrote Toilers of the Sea. He said, only if they had run me out of the country sooner, how much more I would have written. Leo Tolstoy said, there's 4 things you can do when you hit that kind of misery and you get hit. He said, some people just, when they hit that problem, they'll just drink and get drunk. Second, be so miserable, they commit suicide. Third one is they build a steel wall around themselves and just protect themselves from the world. And the fourth one will stand in what it is that's going on, stand strong, accept it, and move forward and through it and be stronger because of that. We are at that place as we choose to go on the quest that we will be challenged. We will be thrown into a prison sometimes. We may be a person without a country, possibly. I don't know, but the knight never knows when they take off on their quest and their adventure what it is they're going to run into, but they know it's going to be an adventure. They know that they are in alignment with a spirit of something higher in their work, and spirit shows up. And you don't know how it's going to show up because you don't know what the issue is yet. And if you're all worried and filled with anxiety, you're like spinning out. You know, Merlin, he not only had insight and foresight, he had what they called backsight. Okay, that's right. If you saw the Disney movie, you know that he already lived this life and he was living backwards from having experienced it. So when he shows up and says, you know what, you're going to be king, you better believe him because he's already been there. You're going to unite the kingdoms. He's already been there. He knows that. When he says he's going to be thrown in prison at the island with Nimu, the lady of the lake, is going to last a couple hundred years. And Arthur said, no, I'll come rescue you. No, he said, no, it's going to be a good thing. I'll come to you. You know, it's like there's an assurance. And when you're dealing in the one mind, it is all there. And so whether you're out fighting dragons or you're out in search of the Holy Grail or whether you're trying to take care of something at home in a domestic kind of thing, that presence that can show up if you cannot be caught up in, the wizard isn't caught up in judgment or the past memories, is fully present here. There aren't past memories yet for the wizard because they're coming backwards, forward, right? You know, they're present and there's an answer. And the answers today are different than they were in Arthur's day. And here's one little example. You may have seen this. It was viral this month. It's about this little 4-year-old who left his stuffed puppy in a rest stop. And it disappeared. And it's been on an incredible journey. What mom doesn't know about their kid's stuffed animal they've loved, right? These are being posted on Facebook. Three places got shown where he went. Spirit shows up. That dog's name was Pup Pup, and it's got to go on everywhere, and it was on Facebook, and it went viral and found its way home. There's answers for today that Arthur knew nothing of. But what is the same is the call of the Grail. We have that Grail call that is summons to us to go on a journey we know not where. But it's the same kind of stirring that has been from the beginning of time within people. That Grail has summoned the wise, the sage, and the not so wise. It has summoned the prodigies, the prodigals, and the princes, the mothers and the maidens, the warriors and the workers. Doesn't care about race or station, time or location. But there's a stirring inside of us that will lead to an abundant way of being in this life, in this world. It will take you on a path you know not of, but it will take you on a path that allows you to come to recognize the wizard, the genius, the marvel of your being. It will return the magic, the sparkle, the joy, the excitement. But you've got to leave behind the Camelot. You pay tribute to the path that has brought you this far. But what's next? I can't tell you. But listen to the sum, the call of the Grail, and follow your quest. We're here to support you on it. I love you. God bless you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Barry and Daleen back to our stage.
Here, have a guitar.
Thank you. Such a good husband.
I've had a lot of practice. So, this next song is from our CD, and it's about a very extraordinary man that we knew. But it was written with the idea, and he would have approved of this, that it could be about anybody that's extraordinary to you, whether it be Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, King Arthur, Merlin, or anybody else. This is called The Most Extraordinary Man.
Most extraordinary man, most extraordinary man. He walked across the land, touched us without hand. The inner flame was fanned from a place so far away. Higher space, a different day. To find the inner truth, he sacrificed his youth until at last he knew he was a father and a mother, a sister, understood or tried to understand this most extraordinary man, this most extraordinary man. He wasn't rich or tall, by some he measured small. That was hardly all. In many ways like me and leads to one that he had long since run. He was a father and a mother, a sister and a brother. All things good to all who understood or tried to understand this most extraordinary man. Try to understand this most extraordinary man, this most extraordinary man, this most extraordinary man. Ooh.
Thank you.
That is Cahill and Deline. Very nice. All right. Well, let's see. This is our time of service where we get to unite together. I got my pockets. In our givingness, in our sharing. But I also want to point out that this time is not only when we put in our financial support and contribution. I want to encourage you that affirmation card that you have there, we're going to take your names and we're going to print them out for next week, and you get to see everyone who says, you know what, you can count me in that added consciousness of knowing that we are honoring this path in which we have walked, that we're going to pay tribute to, you know what, to you. You have journeyed to this point in time, and you have got a lot of stories, and you've got a lot of histories. And you've got a lot of teachers, and maybe you don't even know how that bird or that person or that situation is going to contribute to your life in the future. But you know what? They all showed up when Arthur needed it to pull that sword out of the stone. All your past experiences are going to show up in your life at some time when you need that. So don't just count them. You pay tribute to whatever that path has been. So as you sign that affirmation card and you put it in the collection basket as it comes by, we're going to collect the names, we're going to print them all, put them out there, and just see everyone said, count me in on that. So it's time to add your financial support. It's also time to add your consciousness in this kind of way. So with that, I'd like to call our ushers forward as we do take our gift from our heart, our soul, our spirit. Know that truly it's an extension of our consciousness. It is a declaration of our activity, of the abundant flow of God, of that wonderful affluent flow of spirit in our life. You cannot outgive spirit. What you can do is be in that wonderful expression of the divine. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this truly is a blessed moment where the fullness of the Spirit has its way, that pours forth through each and every one of us in a rich kind of way, in an appropriate kind of way, a relevant kind of way. For we are dealing in a realm that is truly inexhaustible, and as we become that place in which that form takes place, because it is not shadowed the Spirit, but rather it has ended up showing up in ways that represent the Spirit in our personal life through our actions. So with joy, we look into our heart, we feel the gratitude and the love and appreciation, and we come from that overflow, sharing that as a tribute to that Spirit being the activity that the Spirit is having, and finding Spirit continues to be the activity of our life. So with joy we give, with joy we receive, and know that this wonderful vibration of love goes forth and touches all those comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be this. And so it is. Amen. And together let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Guys from Seaside. Nice job. Woo! And so as I stand before this overflowing bucket of abundance, I know right now that truly represents the abundance that is taking place in our individual lives. For the fullness and the grace of God's richness continues to caress our world and become that place through which it moves. It is given in love. It is given from a deep sense of security and peace, knowing that that flow is inexhaustible and that the infinite continues to expand its expression as our individual lives. And by proving that, we do that through our action and sharing this good, supporting Spirit's work. And I know right now that Spirit continues to support its work as our individual lives. So grateful to be embarking upon this quest of abundance, of that spiritual understanding and the richness that that brings. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this moment, to be able to support this vortex of light and life and triumphant expression of God's good, this tribute of God's blessings that has always been part of our life. We take this blessing that's blessed us, we send it forth, and Seaside receives it in good stewardship, and it sends it forth, that blessing into the world, bringing grace to all that comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this moment in time and space. And so it is. Amen. All right. Thank you. Hey, this is Edwin Robinson. He is your board president. And yeah, kind of heading things up. We got over 30 members joining Seaside. So next Sunday, this time, we're going to have a new member class. So if you've been thinking about joining Seaside, this is the time to give Edwin your membership at the table out there and sign up. Tina's out there. Sign up. We'd love to have you. We're going to take you to lunch on November 2nd, too. It'll be great. Del Mar Hilton, where this all began. So it'll be a lot of fun. So today's the day. New members. Guys, fabulous. Barry and Deline, just thank you too so much for your love, your support, for your years of music you've been in my life. And thank you, Rosedale, Senior School of Ministry, prophesized by this wonderful choir director, Leslie. So, and Leslie, bless you for the wonderful music and zest. And choir, it's open today. You got 6 more weeks before the Thanksgiving, actually the 12th you guys are going to sing for Pledge Sunday. So today's the day. Come talk with Leslie. It's a lot of fun. 1 o'clock right here. So, hey, a lot of goods going on here at Seaside. I heard Lori Mack stand up. Reverend Lori's back. Sounds like she's putting together a little flash mob scene some way or sometime. So it's the Billion Women Rising. Talk to her if you're interested in that and plan to be here for her ordination. Also, Callie's got a class starting up. She's only got 25 spots, and I know she's got more than 20 people signed up already. It's Thursday night, and so if you're interested, it's in the Sunday program. See her at the table. They're meeting in the Rose Room. I think it's only 3 or 4 weeks, and so if you're interested, I'm giving you a heads up and take it, or those spots are gone. There's all sorts of things going on in Seaside. I can keep talking about them. I could tell you about the murder mystery party I had Friday night, but I'll save that for a different time, which was a lot of fun. But what I want to do is ask our kids, hey, what'd you guys do today? What were you up to today? Anybody want to talk to me? No? Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll tell you what. We'll love you up anyways. Let's say this affirmation together, which is, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. Again, together this time, we see you, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. Woo, that's so right. Okay, I'm going to pray. So I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners that are here to stand if they feel like it. But I invite all of us to feel that upliftment of energy and light and life, and know that truly as we walk this world, that we are safe, that the Spirit is with us always. And it's truly in this moment that I choose to recognize the allness and the omniscience and the omnipotence and the omnipresence of Spirit. That right where I am, whatever shape I choose to express in this world is still an expression of God. There is no distinctions when we're dealing with God. That life force, that energy, that Spirit is in and through all things. And so that fullness of that allness has its way in our very life in those ways that are relevant and right and real, even before we know what it is we need. Merlin's come back and said it's taken care of. That wizard within you knows it's already been handled. So rest in this deep knowingness that it's been handled, that it is well, that the outcome is divine, that you've never been left alone, that the life lessons that you have experienced from your friends or the characters that have graced your world heretofore somehow have played an integral part in developing your skills, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and you will have learned from that experience all that is necessary for that which will present itself sometime for you. And you can say thank you to the warthogs or the owls or the geese or whoever the characters have been for facilitating those important life pieces. Pay tribute to the path that you have taken and live with a sense of gratitude and appreciation. And it is this kind of resonance and vibration that brings a sense of well-being and peace and deep security. And it's in this kind of restful place that the concern, the anxiety, the stress begins to dissolve into the nothingness from which it came. And what remains is that clear space for the divine download to bring the fullness of its vision and to live with a sense of fulfillment, excitement, and joy, to be able to say yes to the quest to go off on that new adventure, just seeking to expand the greater yet to be of your being. For the fullness of Spirit is moving in this moment. So whatever difficulty or challenge you might be addressing in your life, whatever that may be, lift it up, look at it, don't fear it, stand with it, and know that there is the wisdom of a wizard, of your divine genius, the Spirit that is alive within you, that can move you through this. No need to build a wall, no need to disappear, no need to numb yourself. You have all that is necessary. And as you shape-shift into that greater expression of yourself, the floodgates open, the abundance pours, the relevant expressions show up, the wisdom is there, the body heals itself, the activating the intelligence, the divine blueprint in every cell and tissue and organ and fiber of your being. It returns to its sense of wholeness, and we move forward with a new joy and aliveness and a gratefulness. The relationships are magical and wonderful and alive and dynamic and fresh and wonderful. Deep, intimate, integrity, togetherness, thankful, and living in the state of gratitude for a beautiful spiritual community, this Camelot, this place where we can come and recharge and refresh and remember and to find the peace and share our stories and feel the tribute to the journey that we have been on in this life and the lessons that we have learned and the knocks and the prisons that we have come through, to be able to return home to our Camelot, to our spiritual community. And it is here because of those that have gone before or that are here now that have supported this over time, that allows the light of this haven, this nexus, this Camelot to be available. The gates are open, its arms spread wide to welcome you home without judgment, without criticism, but with kindness, caring, and compassion. I'm grateful to be part of a growing, thriving spiritual community that works for everyone like that. Seaside continues to prosper and thrive because it continues to put Spirit first, and it continues to seek that Holy Grail, that which represents the Spirit, not for any other reasons, but to be that expression of Spirit. This I'm grateful for, to be with a clan of fellow journeyers as we celebrate, as we love, and gratitude, appreciation for the good that has led us to this moment. I let go knowing it continues. I let go knowing it continues to unfold and express itself in all those perfect ways. I let go, I let God, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life when I thought I had to do it all myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged and you are struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it go. Bye-bye. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no
proclamation for this week that all of you filled out and put in the basket and can say, if you didn't, I honor the path I've walked. Again, I honor the path I've walked. Touch your heart and say it again. I honor the path I've walked. One more time like you're doing. I honor the path I've walked. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world as I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we'll walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace.